is another fantastic day here at Fun King Garage, and today is the day that I finally get to start welding the 4-link parts onto that new axle housing. Now it's going to be a big project and a lot of welding. There's going to be a lot to learn and a lot to figure out, but with you watching, I have faith that I'll be able to pull it off. So without further ado, let's get this road on the show. No, show on the road. So I took a trip down to the metal supplier today and I picked up this tubing to extend the crossmember. The crossmember is 1 13/16 too narrow for frame rail to frame rail. So I got this tubing that's 1/4 inch wall that I will be able, with some weld cleanup, be able to slide it in here, and then I'll rosette weld it a couple times on the side, all the way around, all the way to the frame, over to the neighbor's house, whatever it takes to make it sturdy. Now, the problem with tubing is it's got a weld on the inside all the way down, or at least it typically does. And in this case, that weld is going to be in the way, so I'm going to take this carbide bit on my air grinder and just get as much of that out of there as I can. And then once I determine where I want to cut it and I shape it and cut it, I can come in from the other side. It's working quite well. These are just a cheap set of burrs from Amazon. So I bought this metal. Let's let that kick off first. Oh, splinters, splinters. So many splinters. So I bought this metal from Metals Supermarket. Metals Supermarket, one or the other. We actually have 2 locations that are only like 3 miles apart from each other, but that's neither here nor there. I did pick up some tubing to extend the upper crossmember as well, the shock crossmember. However, they give me 1.5 inch, and I ordered 1 3/4 inch. It's on the paperwork, it's 1 3/4 inch, so I'm going to reach out to them, see what they're going to do about it, because they're an hour away from me. We'll see what happens. Now, the reason I drive an hour plus to get to a metal store is because the only one locally to me doesn't bother to answer the phone or call you back or answer your emails. Apparently they just don't want your business. Alright, now to get this crossmember to fit inside of this tube, I'm going to have to knock these welds down. In fact, this is quite bubbly on this side, so I'm going to knock those down at least back to right here so that it fits. And if anybody out there knows of a good source, affordable source, of flap disc wheels, whether for the small angle grinder or the 4 inch or 4.5 inch angle grinder, I'd love to know about it. I currently buy mine from Benchmark Abrasive, and they're not terribly expensive comparatively, and they're good quality. I just would like to find something a little more affordable. I may have to hammer it in, but that's going to work. That's going to work just fine. So now I got to come up with a design. I think that I'm going to leave it a little long on each side of the cross member and then notch it and leave a tail on the bottom. I don't really want anything sticking down below the frame if I can prevent it, but a 1/4 inch tail going up under the frame should be fine, and then I can actually weld around that and up and over. Give me a little bit more strength. Of course, this piece of pipe right here, this piece of tubing is 3,000, 82,000 times more strong than the cross member, but it's gonna be good. Okay, so I've come up with a design. The front side, I know you're not gonna be able to see this, but the front side's just going to stop where the tabs are for the link bars. The back side, however, is going to come down and it's going to have this tab right here that extends behind where the tabs are for the link bar, just to give it a little extra, because, you know, again, I mean, it's already way too strong. Now, here's the scary part. This is the only piece of this I have. If I mess this up, I have to drive an hour back to Orlando on Monday and get another piece. So, you know, fingers crossed. I don't know if you can see all my marks, but I sketched out a couple different things, and I should have started with the cardboard, but I didn't. So, but this is it. This is what I'm cutting. Hopefully it works. The way this is going to end up, there's going to be a tab back here too that's going to get lopped off. So far so good. Starting to come together. All right, so now I got to cut this tab clean off. Yeah, I think once I clean that up, that's going to be fantastic. And I should be able to get that whole weld seam out of there now. That's small enough. Man, these little metal shavings suck. All right, I'll get that cleaned up and I'll show you how it looks. Well, there they are, both of them. Passenger side, driver side. Even though that has a P on it, that's really the driver side. Guess it doesn't matter as long as they mirror each other. I'll figure out where they go. It's very late. It's definitely been a late night, but I'm thrilled to have these done. Now I will have to make still some kind of a cap to go over the top of the dom tubing that runs through the top of that and take care of this edge on here. This is a little sharp, but I'll figure out where I want to drill holes for rosette welds, and then I should be able to put a bead all the way around that. It'll be pretty beefy. I'm excited. So it's been another hour since I said I was gonna wrap it up. Metal gets you really dirty. So I just couldn't stop. So I ended up at 37 out to out, and what I need is about 36.5, which is perfect because now I can cut this for an exact perfect fit. And I wanted to be at the point where I was ready to start laying down some weld first thing in the morning. So that's where I am, and I'm super excited. That turned out magnificent. And again, I'll still have to make a little cap for here, but yep. I thought about making this a bolt-in and then decided against it. I think it'll be better welded. New morning in the shop. I've got the cross member ready to go. I need to start putting some welds on it. I was so excited I was going to weld the whole thing up, and I got to thinking this morning, that's stupid. I need to just put some tack welds on that thing and make sure that I can get it to fit before I weld the whole thing, and then I'm completely just roached. I will get those tack welded. I will then start to work on the brackets. I printed out the instructions so I don't have to deal with them in a PDF. Just so you know, that's what she looks like. That's what we're fighting for. But again, this kit was labeled for the Tri-5 Chevrolets, not not for the Ford Fairlane, but it is a universal kit because they sell the same kit for other stuff as well. So we're going to make it work, and work it will. Well, I apologize for the lighting to be so terrible under here, but this is the way it is. This is the height that I need it so I can reach everything, which makes it very dangerous for the old bean. Anyway, I've started to set some hose clamps out from center to match the measurements that I have here on the drawing. I've stuck the drawing to the frame with a magnet and a light so I can see, because I have old eyeballs. I have a center line that I did earlier by putting this piece of sheet metal over the top of the pumpkin, marking my center, and then I can now measure off of that based on these drawings they've given us. I don't, however, want to just hold it up tack in the brackets, so I'm actually right now using zip ties because I was out of long hose clamps, and hopefully they'll get here soon. I ordered them, but in the meantime I can get all of this mocked up, and then by using the hose clamps, I know that they are where I need them to be. I'll be able to tack those in. Every so often Harbor Freight puts out a coupon where you can buy things at a certain percentage off. They send out one that's 30% off, items $10 and below if you're not an Inside Track Club member. Well, a good option for you is hose clamps. You can buy 5 things at a time with those coupons, and I stock up on hose clamps until I just don't know what to do with them all. And when I have enough hose clamps, I start buying the disposable shop rags. Alright, so that guy turned out to be 13 1/8 to the outside. The measurement that they give me is, well, it's drawn badly, like pretty much everything else with this kit. The way it's drawn, it's actually drawn to the middle of this tab, but I have to assume that it would be to the outside. I'm going to measure the crossmember tabs. So the crossmember is 26 1/4 inside to inside, which would give me my 13 1/8 from the center. So apparently that's where I came up with that the other day. And see, it has shifted over. I only have it held on again by a zip tie, so it's quite malleable. And there we go. I was going to say these brackets aren't quite square. It'll be okay. They're close enough. It's close enough. Leaf springs aren't perfect either. So that shifted on me when I tightened it. Perfect. Oh, it's getting real now. It's getting real. So the instructions tell you to actually pitch your housing forward 2 degrees, which at first I thought, what? I don't want that set forward at 2 degrees, but that's just for setting these brackets. Once your housing is pitched forward 2 degrees, all of these brackets are perfectly plumb. I don't understand why these companies all cover their parts with mill scale. You just have to grind it off. I beveled that edge and now it doesn't grab the pipe clamp. That's alright. It gives me an idea where it needs to be. Still going to check it all with a tape measure anyway. Oh, I eyeballed that and it was dead on. I'm awesome. Ow. That's what I get for making jokes like that. I'm terrified. I'm terrified to tack weld these on because this is it. So I have one of these Klein digital angle finders, and it has a magnet, but only on one end. I've made a mess out of this. So what I've done is I've set this on a level. I set a level to be level to the earth. I set this on and I zeroed it out. So this is zeroed to the earth. So now if I put this on the housing, and being that it only has the magnet on one side, I have to put it this way. And what I'm looking for is 90 degrees for straight up and down. And then I want to pitch it to 88. Which is right there. I can then use this on these brackets and get these set to 90. Now the big question is how accurate does it truly need to be? Because I have a feeling that if I just set it with the level, it wouldn't make a difference. Thoughts? So, I'm going to drag the welder over, get a ground clamp on this car. We're going to put some tacks. Housing's at 88 degrees. Bracket's plumb. Bracket's still plumb, housing's still at 88 degrees. I'm going to remove that pipe clamp. Worst part is I don't fit under the car with my helmet on. Somebody should come up with a welder that you don't have to wear a helmet. If I turn the welder on. You know what I didn't do though? It didn't double check my measurements one more time. Oh, it seems a little anal retentive, but perfect. This one is not though. So now, now that I've set that one, now I'm level and my measurement is dead on. Time for a tack. Hey, look at that. We got lower brackets. Still at 88. See how close we got using the bubble level. 89.8. 89.8. I'll take that. I can live with a 0.2 degree discrepancy by bubble level. Here's a conundrum I'm going through because I'd like to put airbags on this car. I'm sure I've said that 1,000 times. Airbag shocks are also an option. Ride Tech makes a nice set, but they're $950. You're only going to get 5 inches of travel or 5.6 inches of travel. So roughly, you know what, 2.5 up, 2.5 down. 2.5 inches worth of drop would still be pretty significant on this car. It sits relatively low. That's probably the easy out, but it's more money. I could put bags in here, but clearance is going to become an issue. So do I just put coilovers for now? QA1s, of course, which are $580 for the pair, and then later on eat it, sell the QA1s. I don't know. I guess I said all of that to say, do I weld the shock brackets on now? I mean, it gives me a measurement for them. Probably should. I should probably just put them in. If I have to cut them off later, I'll cut them off later. It'll be a little trickier to get. Probably have to use the digital. The digital. Alright, so these are 36 3/4 or 18 3/8 apart. Not apart, I'm sorry. 36 3/4 or half of that, which is 18 3/8 from center to center. Did you guys see where I put my level? Walk off with it. Be bad about that stuff. Glad you guys didn't see that. Just took studio light to the face. Why didn't you tell me I put it over on the welding cart? 86.8. 83 flat. I know, I'm probably being entirely too picky, but that's 86 flat. That's 83.5. Alright, so what I've done is I've drawn a center line on it. I don't know if it's going to be much help, but my housing hasn't moved. Still 88. I set that to be plumb and I don't even know that it's in the right spot. Man, I'm so tired of hitting my head. I have to go put a hard hat on. Off of the 1. It's 19 in the mate. Well, that's pretty good, pretty good. Let's come back here and see it from your perspective. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay. Oh, it's really close. Like if it's off, nobody's gonna know. I'm gonna shim that. No, that's nuts, but I'm gonna shim it. Y'all can give me crap in the comments, but it's important to me. All right, still good that way. Now she's good that way. Yeah, feel free to give me crap if you want to, but that's important to me. Let's double check it. 89.9, I'll take that. Still where it's supposed to be. My offhand glove is always the one that's burned up. Short hand never gets burned. Ain't going anywhere. That's enough weld, right? I mean, it's only a suspension. I love to hear that compressor run. One of these days I'll move it out of the shop. I should have drawn a center line on that. Go! That'll work. Why did that spatter out so bad? Got the gas on. Got gas. I got gas. Beautiful. That's where I want it. That's where I mostly want it. Alright, one more check with the tape. Let's make sure I didn't move the housing. Front of it should be down quite well. That's where it's going, right there. That's where it's going. Hey guys, that's where it's going. Up on the sleeve. You know what? I never cleaned this axle housing. There might be something on this housing. That might be where that black's coming from. I have no light back behind here. It's really dark. Hey, so I'm going to say that that was successful. Listen, there's no shame in not hurrying. work a little harder, get it a little nicer. Nobody's going to complain in the long run. Plus, I'm sure I spent a lot more time on this than what I showed you guys, so I don't know yet. I haven't done the editing. That's future me's problem. Okay, so now the only other thing that has to go on the axle housing is a lot more things. There's 2 tabs that go on for the upper link bars, but I think I have to wait for that. I'll tell you why in a minute. There's 2 tabs for the sway bar links. Those I could probably get done. What I do need to do though is make a 5/8 inch, 5/8, 11/16 I think. I think I'm going to go 11/16. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, maybe not even that big. But I got to make a spacer and then I'll bolt those 2 together so I can set them up there. They go out at 29.5. So, and those beauties look like this. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to make a spacer to go in between them so that I can just set them up there and tack them in. It'll be a much easier job than trying to do both of them. Alright, so I spent way too much time on that, but it's fine. Stack of washers and a piece of flashing cut to size with a hole punched in it gave me 41/64, which will give me just enough room that when I slide the end link down in there, it won't jam up. I'm so tired of hitting my head on stuff. Alright, so I ended up measuring from center out to that bracket, put me in line with this bracket or somewhere in the middle of it. So I then measured the thickness of those 2, put my pipe clamp or my hose clamp to line it up, and I pulled that over. Now as far as my 90 degree, it is dead on up and down because I used the micrometer. I just looked at it and got it. It's really, really, really close. I can't imagine that it's that critical. I mean, it does have an adjustable link that goes on the end. So I'm going to tack that one in and then I'll get that one set and tack that one in. You know, I might put the car up higher, just stand on a stool. All right, that should take care of that. I'm going to get the other one mocked up the same way and get it tacked in as well. So everything that needs to be welded to the rear end is there except for the triangulation brackets. Now it does give me a measurement of where they need to be, but the angles and things, I don't know. I have to figure that out, and I think that I'm going to be better off setting the crossmember first because there are some crucial measurements of eye hole to eye hole that you have to set, and it said to not deviate from those. So I'll go ahead and do that before I pull any of this out to finish weld it, just in case I got to move something. I mean, that was the point of tacking it. I'm going to get that crossmember tacked up though. I'll do that over on the welding table and start figuring out where it's going to fit in here. Oh, this is exciting, and so much progress has been made. But unfortunately, this is where I need to end this episode. But in the next episode, I'm going to be getting that crossmember welded together and welded up into the car. Then I'll be able to get the bars set and actually have a suspension put together on this rear axle. I know it's taken a while, but this is a big job. It's very hard for me to decide what goes into each episode. This one, for instance, is about 25 to 30 hours worth of work that I have had to condense down into 30 minutes for you to consume. So sometimes the decision is hard, but I also don't want things to run entirely too long. But now you want to make sure that you are subscribed and you ring that bell for notification because you're not going to want to miss the next episode. Power Tour is coming up very quickly. We're very excited, but it's crunch time and it's getting a little bit nerve-wracking. But as always, until next time, thanks for watching. that I have to condense it down, but now I